Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. This is going to be my match review of the Arsenal vs Tottenham game, which ended 2-2 at the Emirates. So if you enjoyed this video, be sure to like, comment and subscribe, and yeah, we're going to get straight into it. Okay, so obviously coming into this game, this was like Tottenham's first sort of big test. Obviously games we played before this are sort of games you expect us to win, but of course you still got to win them. But coming into this game, obviously there was a lot of talk from Arsenal fans, pundits, the media. Literally everyone was expecting Tottenham to get like smashed. I was hearing like 4-0, 5-1, all these like score lines. I'm thinking, okay, that's fine. You know, you can underestimate Tottenham, like that's fine, whatever. And then we come to the game, it ends 2-2. It really could have gone either way when you think about the chances within the game and like what happened within the game as well. I feel like for the first sort of maybe 10 minutes, Spurs, you know, were playing well. Arsenal sort of, you know, were doing their thing, kind of, and they managed to get in. Saka shot, I don't think it was going in, but Romero sort of sticks his legs out and then it sort of deflects off him and goes in the goal. And you're thinking, oh, okay, so it's 1-0. At this point, I wasn't like worried. Like, I was like, you know what? It's early in the game. It's only 1-0. Like, it's unfortunate. Obviously, that sort of thing can happen. Deflects off you. Okay, move on. And then there came that point with Maddison on like the edge of the box, sort of in the box, which Jesus like takes the ball off him, and you're thinking, okay, this could be 2-0. Somehow he doesn't score. He blasts it over the bar. So I was thinking at this point we got lucky there, and we just need to wake up a bit because I feel like our play was a bit slow at times. Those first sort of 25 minutes or so. And then Spurs started to, you know, play a bit better. We had that Brennan Johnson chance, which, to be fair, was a good save from Raya. Got to give credit there, but I thought it was a good move. And if that ended up as a goal, that would have been a great goal to, you know, score. And then I feel like from then on until like the end of the first half, Tottenham were the more dominant side. I feel like, you know, I feel like Tottenham were playing better in that sort of last 5 to 10 minutes. And then God, actually, okay, so it's sort of, you know, getting pinned around. Arsenal couldn't really clear their lines. The ball ends up with Maddison. This moment for me was so hilarious to see, but the way he literally turns Saka, like, it's like, bye. Maddison obviously kicks the ball in, plays the ball across, gets to Son, and that finish from Son was immense. Like, hello. It was a brilliant finish from Son, and then it's 1-1. But the way Saka got turned, that was funny. If we're talking about the first goal from Arsenal though, I don't necessarily think. I feel like there's a bit of confusion with Udogie, then like Brennan Johnson came back, and then like no one really like sort of, there was a lot of space for Saka to shoot, so I feel like that was the issue. And then obviously Romero sticks their leg out and that sort of happens. So I feel like it wasn't really, there's not one person you could blame for that. I feel like Udogie, Brennan Johnson, and like Saka, maybe not Saka, like obviously and then maybe Romero for sticking a leg out. Maybe I don't think it would have been going in. It might have been going wide. I don't know. But it didn't look like it was going to go in. But then it sort of, I don't know. I feel like if Romero didn't put his foot out, then Vicario, whether it was going to be on target or not, would have had more of a chance to like stop it. But, you know, these things happen. And then we move on. So obviously going to half time, it's 1-1. I would say that's pretty much a fair result. I feel like other than like the Jesus chance, and maybe that Nketiah chance as well, I can't remember too many chances that Arsenal sort of created throughout the whole game, not necessarily just the first half, but yeah, they didn't really play that. I don't think Arsenal were like, they weren't playing at their best. There were obviously a lot of mistakes in there, and I feel like Tottenham on the day played the better football. Which is, you go to the Emirates, as I said, people were expecting us to get smashed. Didn't happen. And I just want to point out, Tottenham fans are not celebrating it like we won the game. Like, that's not what it is. We're just more happy with the performance in itself. Us coming to Emirates, going toe-to-toe with Arsenal, who are, you know, meant to be challenging for the league. So I thought that because we're like 6 games into this project, whereas Arsenal are like 5 years into the project. Like, yes, Arsenal fans can talk about injuries and that, but I don't really think you could talk about the injuries after the game if you weren't talking about them before the game. Because if you weren't worried about injuries before the game, and then the result comes and you're like, oh, we had this player miss, we had this player miss, and like, it's a bit of a cop-out, really. And I feel like it's just like excuses, like, you know. Anyways, come to the second half. Right, the penalty, I don't, because the penalty that could have been a penalty against Man United wasn't given. So then you're thinking, okay, this is kind of similar, so it wouldn't be given. But then also this penalty was given, and what I didn't actually realise, like, whilst watching the game yesterday, was that Romero could have been sent off if Bissouma wasn't on, like, behind him, because it would have been like a denial of goal scoring opportunity, blah blah blah. So I'm sort of glad it was the penalty and not the red card, because I feel like if Romero was sent off that point, I don't think we'd come out of that with a win. Not a win. What am I talking about? We probably wouldn't have come out with anything. I mean, because it would have still been a pen. I feel like it could have been like a pen and a red card. So yeah, I don't feel like, I feel like it would have been very hard for us to come out with that, with a point at least. Like, I feel like we probably, I don't know, we probably would have lost anyways. So I'm sort of glad about the penalty was given instead of the red card, but I still don't think it's a penalty. Like, I feel like it's like, because you're going down to like block it, but when you're like using it, like, you're meant to use, when you're trying to defend, you're going to use your arms, but you can't go try and block it with your arms like this. Like, how do you defend like that? Like, I don't get it. And with Dyer, right, I'm just using him as an example. Like, he's always like this, and it's sort of backing off, but it's just that's just, yeah, that, yeah, if Romero was doing that, you'd think, what the heck are you doing? So he's unfortunate that his sort of 2 mistakes, I guess, sort of led into Arsenal goals. But other than that, like, sort of penalty in the second half, Arsenal didn't really create much. They didn't really have too many chances in that second half, let's be real. I feel like every time Tottenham were going forward, they seemed like more likely to get a goal. I feel like we had the better chances throughout the game. And also, okay, so get that penalty, Saka scores, boom, shalaka. Come to like restarting the game, Jorginho's on the ball. I don't know what he's doing at the back, but he's just like pissing around on the ball. Maddison steals it, runs at him, Son's running with him. Maddison plays a perfect pass to Son at the right time, and again, another clinical finish from Son, makes it 2-2. And now you're thinking, when has there ever been a period in time where Arsenal have just like taken the lead and straight away we've equalised? I don't think I've seen that in a North London derby, or like recently, because there's been so many. I'm like, yeah, I feel like in recent years we would have never seen that before. But the character we showed, the resilience, obviously, like I said, people thought we were going to get smashed. So to come away with 2-2, I mean, we could have won the game, let's be real, but I feel like it's a good point. Like, I'm more happy with the performance than the actual result itself. I feel like disappointed, obviously, because we didn't get the win, but happy with the performance we put in. And we went there, we was brave, we just kept playing like how Ange wants us to play, and I feel like tactically Ange got it spot on. I feel like Arteta, maybe Rice was like, forget about Rice because that was like sort of an injury, so, but bring on like Havertz and like Jorginho, it's like those sort of like, yeah, it just felt like those were like mistakes. And obviously you see Jorginho was at fault for the equaliser. I feel like Saka for like, so the first half of the first half was playing like well, but I feel like come towards the second half, he's sort of, you didn't really see him that much, apart from the penalty, obviously. In the middle of the park, I feel like Tottenham were more dominant, especially in that second half. Maybe that had something to do with Rice coming off, but you know, it is what it is. I feel like Bissouma definitely grew into the game as well. I've got to mention Van de Ven. I feel like he was fantastic yesterday. Romero, obviously, apart from his like 2 mistakes, which were the what led to the Arsenal goals, I feel like it wasn't his best performance, and he was slightly less good than Van de Ven, but I feel like he was still somewhat decent, so can't get onto him too much. But yeah, it wasn't his best game, but it wasn't like he was making mistake after mistake. Like, he was just unfortunate with the 2 errors. But another good thing was the fact that Tottenham had more possession, which you wouldn't normally think Tottenham had more possession at the Emirates. Like, that doesn't usually happen. But I think that just goes to show the way sort of Ange just set up his team, and the way he sort of changed not just the style, but there's like the mentality, sort of the culture around the club as well. So that, even that in itself, I feel like was a brilliant thing to take away from yesterday. And yeah, also I mentioned Vicario as well. I feel like Vicario had a very good performance as well. Made some really good saves. He couldn't do anything about the 2 goals. It's pretty well penalties, like 50-50 in a way, and the own goal, couldn't do anything about it. I felt like Kulu, this probably was his best performance this season. I feel like he was playing much better. Obviously, Johnson was his debut. Could have gotten a score sheet. I feel like for the time he was on the pitch, he played very well, and I was happy from what we saw of him. I feel like he was a constant threat, you know, with his pace. Got to mention Udogie. Like, I feel like, especially in that second half, he even on like the yellow card, like, you're thinking, okay, he's got this yellow card, you know, it quite easily could become a red. It was quite it was quite good to see him deal with that yellow card and still be able to, you know, keep out Saka, because we barely saw him. We barely saw Odegaard, really. I feel like for the first half an hour maybe we saw him like here and there, but for the majority of the game he kept him quite quiet. And I feel like out of like Odegaard and Maddison, who shone the brightest? Maddison with his 2 assists. So I feel like, yeah, Maddison played really well. I feel like Maddison, Son getting his 2 goals, clinical finishes. I feel like with Son, you know, he really stepped up. You know, it was like a really captain performance. And just like everything shone. Like, I feel like he led the line, and yeah, he was great yesterday, obviously with his 2 goals as well. I feel like I can't remember what the stat was, but it was something about being one of the players that have scored a brace at the Emirates. I can't remember what exactly the stat was, but that was good. And yeah, I'm just like really proud of the performance, actually, because this is what we wanted. Like, regardless, let's be honest, regardless of the result, if we put the result aside, this is what you want: 100% effort, commitment, fighting for the shirt, fighting for each other, and just playing your football and not worrying about what the opposition can do, just focusing on what you can do. And I feel like that's really great yesterday, because normally with Conte, Nuno, whoever, we've seen the low block and us sitting back and just allowing opposition like Arsenal to play. And I feel like yesterday we really took it to them, and it was a brilliant game. I was obviously nervous throughout the whole time, because it's Arsenal, you know, and it's just like one of those games that you just don't want to lose. And luckily we didn't, you know, come away with a point. Obviously disappointing, as I said, but the performance, we're proud of it. And I feel like most of the players actually, you know, for once the whole team sort of showed up. And I'm just, you know, there's quite a few standout performances. Obviously I mentioned Van de Ven, Maddison, Son. I feel like Basuma, especially in that second half. Udogie as well, being so young, and like this been like some of the players' first like London derby, and the way they sort of dealt with like the emotion of the game as well. I felt like they dealt with really well, the character resilience, like I said, and all in all, I felt like, yeah, before the game you'd take a point in Emirates. Obviously for what happened to the game, it could go either way. I do think it was somewhat a fair result, but I do think Spurs played the better football, and I don't really know what's going on with Arsenal. Like, obviously they beat PSV 4-0, but apart from that, they haven't been as great as they were like the start of last season. And I know injuries and whatnot, but I feel like, yeah, I don't know, it was a bit weird to see Tottenham turn out more than Arsenal do at Emirates. Like, you don't normally see that. But yeah, fair result. And there we have it, guys. That is my match review of the Arsenal vs Tottenham game, which ended 2-2. Be sure to let me know down below what you thought of the game, and I will be back later with my play ratings. Bye, guys.